consumer journey, a customer journey, a drip, an automation, a trigger. What are these things? Ada, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, wow. I feel like there are lots of different things, and they really depend specifically on what your needs are in your business. But if I were to characterize it at a high level, this is an experience that you want your subscribers to go through to achieve some sort of goal. That goal may be to learn about your business. That goal may be to promote a particular product or service that you're selling, but it's an experience that you've crafted before someone has subscribed. And by taking that action of subscribing, this person has opened the door to walk through this experience that you've crafted for them. And I think we'll talk about monitoring and metrics, which I love a little bit later, but there's all that kind of information that you can gather to help you understand how you're doing. What I
like what you said was it's about the customer.
Yes. Yeah, it is 100%, 100%. Well, obviously, like any organization that's crafting these, like you have an intention when you set one of these up, but really being very focused on the experience that you want your new subscriber to have by, entering this journey or starting this automation or triggering this automation is really, in my view, one of the most important parts.
Emily, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, very similar to what Ada said. To me, it's the entire relationship, right? Like that's how I view marketing, coming at it from a place of building relationships. And how would you talk to people based on where they are with your relationship with them, right? And so the customer journey starts with, brand awareness, and then how do you get them engaged with you, which in our world is email, right? Like it's the highest ROI marketing channel. So like, how are people getting on your list? How are you nurturing that relationship once they get on your list? And, whatever goal you have for them, how are you following up with them every step of the way to keep nurturing and nudging them down that journey, or like some people call it their sales cycle, right? So how do they become a customer? How do you get them to that point? Once they become a customer, how are you onboarding them? Because that's a really critical time in the customer journey is they just said yes to you. And now how are you nurturing that relationship? And then once maybe they're done with a project they have with you or some other potential offboarding phase, right? How are you guiding them through that too? And then how are you engaging in active contacts or clients, right? So it's that whole from they don't know about you to they know you really well and maybe they aren't so into you anymore, right? Or that relationship is going to part ways. So how do you keep it clean, right? And tidy.
What I like what all of you said here is that you've grouped all the different types that we hear in marketing, all the different types of journeys, the win back, the cart abandonment, the browse abandonment, the welcome, the sunset, the purchase, the lead nurture, the birthday, all of them. And you've grouped them all into a journey. So it's a relationship that you have with your customer. There are different phases during that relationship. You've got a hello, you've got, it's a birthday, congratulations, you've got a purchase, you've got, I don't know you, I'm learning about you. All the different businesses have different needs, and you've taken the journey itself and you've basically used it as an envelope for all of those different relationships. And so therefore there's many different types of journeys that a company can have dependent upon their business and also the point and relationship that they're at, the status of that relationship.
Right. And what I talk to people about this all the time because people mention like personalization being a big deal. Like, and I think when people think about personalization, they think about content, right? Mm-hmm. And intent of interest in a particular product category or whatever. But what people aren't doing that I think makes the biggest impact with personalization is customer journey. right? Like, where are they in their relationship with you, and how are you personalizing your content for that point in their journey, right? Because to me, most people have that data, right, to be able to make those conclusions. But like intent of interest is a little bit trickier. And most people don't have the tools to be able to do that. So yeah, like I think of personalization as like, where are you in your journey? Because that's a much easier strategy to execute.
I love what you're saying there, Emily. And it makes me think about this idea of action and response. For me, I find that this whole idea of journeys with all the different names people call it, because there's so many different words people use. For me, I think at its core, it's really looking at people's actions, subscribers' actions, the action to subscribe, the action to click, the action to fill in a chat message. There's some action, the action of not opening your emails for a certain amount of time, and identifying what your responses will be to those actions. And I feel like there is a lot of wiggle room and options that you have, to your point, Emily, from personalizing content in terms of, sending particular messages based on people's actions, all the way up to, inferring or identifying potential interests based on a combination or a single action. So there's lots of different opportunities, but for me, I feel like the whole concept becomes more simplified when I think about this in terms of, and when I pose it to my clients in terms of, what actions are people taking and how do you want to respond to those actions?
That's beautiful. Way simpler than I just said.
No, it's good. I feel like every perspective is good, and probably my engineering background and my experience. I come to email from experience in looking at workflow in a variety of different organizations, large and small, and so I apply that kind of task step oriented mindset to email, and that's probably where it comes from.